Hello, hello.
Hi.
How are you tonight?
How are you?
I'm doing well. I've given a quick introduction of who you are, but can you please go ahead and introduce
Yeah.
yourself?
Well, my name is Breauna Washington. I'm actually an actor at Universal Studios, Orlando, Florida. So I have a pretty cool job. I live in Florida, Central Florida, which is my title, which is even better. But yeah, I've been doing pageantry for about 15 years, and that's kind of crazy to say because that's almost like half my life. But I'm just excited to be here and kind of spread awareness about pageantry.
How did you get into being an actress at Universal?
So I've been in the entertainment industry for about 10 years here in Orlando. So I started as friends with a Disney princess for 3 years, and then I went to an audition for Universal to be friends with Storm from X-Men. So it started there, and then last year I was able to learn 4 different new characters. So that was all in the span of like 2 months. So my brain was kind of mush, and prepping for Miss Florida. It was insane, but I did it.
Oh my goodness gracious. I love that. I have worked for both NBC and ABC Disney, so I'm very well acquainted with many friends.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your history with pageantry. I know, like you said, you've been in pageantry for 14 years, but what convinced you to even join the world of pageantry?
In 2013, I watched Miss USA, and I kind of told my mom, I was like, oh, I want to do that. But I was always such a shy kid. Even as a teen, I couldn't like walk up to random people and just say, hey. And my friend, there was like a local pageant, and she signed me up for it. She's like, hey, girl, I signed you up for this pageant. You have to do it now. There's no backing out. And so I went and I competed and I won. I had no training. I had a borrowed dress that was like 2 inches too short, with some silver shoes, and I won. And I also won like Miss Congeniality that year. And it brought me out of my shell because you had to go out and like speak at different offerings or different events as that title holder. And so it led me to the county pageant, went to that, and that was my paid way into Miss Florida Teen USA. And when I placed top 15, and that was my first time as well without a coach or anything. And I was like, I think I really like this. It's built my confidence. I can walk into any room and talk to anybody, and it's kind of helped me as an actor as well.
Knowing what you know now, what do you wish you had known before that first pageant?
I don't know. I think it kind of worked in my favor that I didn't have all the pageant knowledge. I think that they liked that I was just authentically like Brie, like the high school girl who walked into the room and just talked about her favorite things and didn't think twice about it. So maybe even just like the dress thing, that rule of like at least have your dress touch the floor. That might have been helpful. But other than that, like I think it was in my favor to not have like the polishedness.
And throughout the last 14 years, you've kind of gone through those smaller pageants and then come back to Miss Florida USA and Miss Florida Teen USA. What has driven you to continue to come back to the Miss Florida USA organization?
It's actually helped me grow so much, just in my personal life as well. Resilience is something that everyone kind of talks about, but when you have to go through it, it's so much harder to kind of tell yourself, get back up, you can do it. And my first 2 years competing at Miss Florida, my name was never called. I at least only when they announced my number to walk across the stage, that was it, but I never made the top 15. And so I kind of took a deep dive into myself and I was like, is this what I really want to do? I'm not even getting any results. And so I took a year off. I went to Princess America. I didn't do well there either. And I decided to come back to Miss Florida in 2023. I got an interview coach and I placed top 10. And then I decided to invest a little bit more into training and branding and all of that good stuff to kind of solidify who I want to be and who I want to represent. And I was lucky enough to be first runner-up at Miss Florida USA last year. And when I made top 5, I was just so satisfied with that. So I was just kind of in a whirlwind. I answered my question. I couldn't tell you what I said in my onstage question. I was just so happy to had made the top 5 because that wasn't something that had happened to me before. So I was just grateful for that. And to be first runner-up was just it was like the cherry on top of everything. It was a really cool experience.
So you are 3 days out from checking in for Miss Florida USA?
3 days out.
What are you doing in the next 3 days to kind of get yourself grounded and really in the right mental headspace for Miss Florida USA?
Well, right now I have one more day of work. Just one more day of work to get through, but working on keeping my headspace clear. So I kind of stay away from social media when I'm leading up to the weeks. I actually don't get on social media the weekend of Miss Florida USA. I just don't think it helps with anything. It just kind of adds that extra level of stress that no one needs. So that's just something I do for myself, as well as just staying kind of centered, whether it's going to the gym and just working out something light or doing yoga or stretching, just to keep everything flowing and good. And I really rely on my daily devotional. So every morning I'll wake up around 5:30 and I do my daily devotional to keep me grounded to start my day. So all of those things combined to have me ready for Miss Florida. Luckily, it's in Orlando this year instead of South Florida, so I don't have to travel for it this time.
Okay, this might be a silly question. I've been through Florida multiple times, but for y'all to travel, say, for Miss Florida USA, for you from Central Florida to South Florida, is that a challenge? Like, is that kind of a haul for y'all?
It's a haul, but I don't want to say anything because the North Florida girls have it way worse than I do, so I can't even complain about it. But 3.5 hours, 4 hours, depending on traffic. I always went down the day before so that I could get in the zone and just be in that space. Right now, I actually get to sleep in my own bed and then wake up for the day of interviews and check in and everything. So it's going to be a little bit more comfortable. I'm a creature of habit. So I like my routines. I like my coffee machine, everything.
I see somebody in the comments says, next Miss Universe, I'm calling it right now. So,
Gosh, that's so sweet. Thank you. From your lips to God's ears.
so with you having been through pageantry now for, like you said, almost half your life, what do you think have been the biggest stepping stones for you to get from that shy teenager to being in the spot where you were called as, first runner-up for Miss Florida USA last year and, maybe bringing home that new crown this year?
Definitely kind of the confidence in myself. So growing up, I went from being the smallest kid in the class to the tallest girl like over one summer. And so I always had that insecurity of like just trying to hide myself and trying to be a little bit like quiet and not necessarily stand out. So with pageantry, it's kind of celebrated. Like being tall is a good thing. Like you get to prance across the stage. So instilled that little bit of confidence, and I realized I loved being on stage. I actually had a personality that could connect with different people, and everyone wanted to talk with me, and I was genuinely interested in what they had to say. And so when I decided to kind of continue that at a greater, like a high level of pageantry that I'm doing right now, it's helped me in my work life. I know how to interview. I know who I am as Washington or Breauna Washington. So I can walk into pretty much any job interview, whether I'm qualified or not, and I'm like, this is what I'm good at. I'm a hard worker and you can teach me. I'll pick it up super fast. But these are my strong suits that I think that could make me the best candidate for this job. And I always book the job. So interview has changed my life completely from pageantry. It's put that confidence, even walking into an audition room, you have to be confident, especially if you're a singer. When I go into singing auditions, I have to keep everything controlled and contained so that I can sing to my best ability. And that all wouldn't happen if I wasn't in pageantry.
So how, with the idea of now competing at a higher level of pageantry, how have you prepared? What really have you focused on in that higher level of preparation for Miss Florida USA?
Last year, something changed for me because placing first runner-up really put it in my grasp where I was like, I could actually win Miss Florida USA and potentially go on to being the first woman from Florida to win the title of Miss USA. So I told myself in that moment, I was going to do everything I could from that day to be even better than I was this year. So I was in the gym, I was doing my interview prep, I was doing my walking lessons, everything down to like my wardrobe, how I'm going to do my hair. All of that has been planned for months and months. So I know that if I'm fully prepared and I've come to be the best version of myself, no matter what the results are, I know I did everything I could to prepare for that. So I'd be so happy with whatever happens. Hopefully it's me leaving with the crown so I can, continue this journey. But I would be so okay with whatever happens.
In the moments that you maybe have felt like you're not enough, or this isn't for you, or maybe you even had the little snots that have come up and said, well, you're not good enough for it. How have you taken that and overcome that?
Definitely cry in the shower first. I'm just gonna be honest, like you have to let it out. I'm an emotional girl, so when I cry, I release all of that negativity, and then I can fully just sit with it and take it. Is this something that's gonna drive me? Is what they're telling me valid, and is it true? I have to kind of sit there and talk with myself. Do these opinions even matter? But something that I take from that is something of like, I'm going to prove you wrong. Like, I can do this, so it drives me even more. I know I can do it. And if I believe in myself, that's all that matters. I don't need a bunch of people. It's nice to have a full support team behind you, but as long as you believe that you can achieve anything you want to and you put in that work behind it, then that's all that matters.
For maybe the women that are watching this that have had people say, well, why would you keep competing? You haven't won now. Why would you win in the future? Which is unfortunately something even I've been told. What do you tell women like that maybe do just want to give up?
Well, this is my 5th year competing for the title of Miss Florida USA, and I really did think about not coming back after that 2nd year and not even placing in the semifinals. And I had someone kind of be brutally honest with me of like, I asked them, what can I do to be in that top 10, that top 5? So I sought out that feedback from someone who was reputable and they knew what they were talking about. And they gave me that feedback and I was like, ouch, it kind of hurt my feelings. And I'm going to take a year off to make sure this is what I really want. If you really want it, nothing should stop you from chasing that dream. And now, luckily for us, it doesn't matter if you're married, if you have children, whatever your age is, you can keep continuing to compete. You can take time off, really figure out who you are as a person, and then come back your best self so that you can compete and present the best version of yourself on that stage.
For you, what does winning outside of the crown look like?
Just like winning in life in general, or if I were to win the title, what would it mean?
Just in general, like for you, without that title, what does winning look like for you?
I've stepped out of my comfort zone by going out and mingling and talking with different organizations that are super important to me. I grew up in a single parent home, so I didn't always have like the custom dress or the hair and makeup team to glam me. So I did a lot of that myself. So I actually go back to my hometown and we have all of the local pageants that I competed in that were my start in pageantry. And I mentor all of those young girls. I'll do their hair and makeup for free. If I have a dress that fits them, I'll just let them wear my wardrobe if they don't have the means to buy it for themselves. And that to me is kind of just giving back so that I can make an impact on them and so that they can feel inspired to chase whatever dream that they have. So that's something that just in pageantry has taught me and that I can take away from it, whether I walk away with a crown or not. I'm super content with how I've lived my life and how I continue to live my life. So that's winning for me.
I love that. So kind of, you were just talking about it, you go back and you give back to your community, and that's something that's really important to you. But also as a title holder, if you are to become Miss Florida USA, or even with your Miss Central Florida title, what is something that you've really focused on as a platform, or kind of whatever title you want to give that?
So overall adolescent well-being, and what I mean by that is emotional intelligence. It's something that adults sometimes struggle with as well. You learn it at a young age in school, maybe in kindergarten, like I feel sad, I feel happy. But I really want to kind of talk with some of our leaderships here in the state of Florida to see if we can implement a program to keep emotional intelligence a part of the curriculum all the way through high school. Because I think that's a super important skill that you need to go out into the adult world when you're going into a job. How do you handle a bad day, or how do you handle tension with a coworker? How do you process your emotions? And I think that's something that's super important that we should continue to learn throughout our developmental ages.
What even spurred that for you? That's actually really unique and interesting. What even brought that idea about?
So like I was telling you, I'm an emotional person. So my first reaction is to cry at everything, even when I'm mad, sad, happy. That's just the natural reaction that comes out of me. But I've kind of grown and matured, and being at 28 years old, I've learned that just acting out of rage or acting out of anger is never the best solution, but figuring out what made me angry, how can I take a step back, and how can I approach the situation? Do I talk with management, or do I talk with my coworker directly? I think about all the possibilities, and I was just kind of thinking, if I had learned this earlier, I'd probably avoid a lot of like issues at work or whatever it may be, like growing up and figuring that out the hard way. So I was like, maybe this is something we should do from elementary all the way through high school.
That would have been wildly helpful for me as well.
I truly think so.
Oh my heavens, Betsy, that would have been great. I had no idea how to like label emotions until I think I was like 23.
Yeah.
So you learn as you live. But with all of that said, you have your job as an actress, you have your title holder position, which in itself is very much a job. You have the desire to create this curriculum for students in school. And at the same time, it is really important in all of those roles to be visible on social media and as a public figure. So how do you go about balancing that role as a public figure, especially in the realm of content creation, which is a pretty big part of being a title holder?
Well, luckily my job is very supportive of this dream. I actually talked to them before signing my contract. I was like, this is something I'm doing, and if I were to say go to Miss USA, I can't give you much notice because I find out the same time you're going to find out, which is while you're watching the pageant. But I have been working with a social media manager to really learn on how to like curating content, because I'm a very much live in the moment kind of girl, not whip my camera out and take like 17 million photos to get the right one. Or like I eat my food, the camera does not eat first. I definitely see the food and I scarf it down. So I've been training myself to be a little bit more cautious of creating my content. Even when I was going out and I got to be a keynote speaker at one of the organizations I partner with, I had to think, oh, my mom needs to come with me so that she can film this or she can take photos of this. And do I need a tripod? So I've definitely been putting in the work as far as social media.
For newer queens that maybe are in the newer realm of, oh, I really have to have a presence on social media, what tips do you have for them to maybe overcome that sense of overwhelm around the content creation and around the visibility?
Well, I know that it truly doesn't matter as far as a following count for if you want to be a title holder. However, I think the biggest thing is getting on a content calendar. So last year, something I did to build, I wanted to reach 5K, 5,000 followers for Miss Florida, and that happened on the day of prelims. So I was super excited about that, to hear from my social media manager, you hit 5,000 followers. But we had a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule of posting. So I had to go after work or dedicate one day out of my week to go and get content so that I had enough to post on all of those days. And when I had like extra from a photo shoot or anything like that, I would post on a Sunday just to spice things up. So really organizing yourself and scheduling it makes it so much easier, so you don't have to think about it in your day-to-day. Because in my job, I can't film like backstage because it's secret, it's top secret. So it's hard for me to come up with like get ready with me's, because you can't really get ready with me at my job. So I had to figure out what worked for me, like my niche.
I wonder if you could do like the get unready with me.
I think I should like get unready with me with my makeup bomb and look crazy.
That I think honestly would be fun, especially for individuals that don't understand how being a friend of a character works, because there are so many bobby pins involved. There are so many extra layers of makeup involved. Like there are a lot of secret things hidden.
Your hairline receding a little bit from the wigs.
Yeah, exactly. And you have like the weird lines left over from the outfit.
My goodness. For the longest time, I had like a tan line right here from one of my costumes. And so I need that gone before I get on stage.
You like put suntan lotion everywhere
except that spot.
I could honestly see that happening. So with everything that's going on, you have to balance quite a bit. You're also pretty creative in the process of all of this, as we've discovered with being a character and also being a singer. Tell me more about singing and where you perform.
So I've gotten some good callbacks for Disney. My dream role for Disney was to be Habibi in Festival of the Lion King. And she's the princess role, and her animal that she kind of talks about is a giraffe, and that's my favorite animal. So I felt like it was meant to be. So when I got that callback, I was just kind of shell-shocked. As well as like Hoop-Dee-Doo, which is one of their longest running shows there. I was called back for Flora. And so I got a lot of no's in that process, but with Disney, it's a very much like you have to keep going and keep showing your face. So that really taught you resilience because you get a lot of no's before you get your yes. And I finally booked with the American Sirens, which is like a 3-part harmony, and it's like postmodern jukebox. So I get to sing with them every Christmas, and I sing alto with them. So it's a really cool, like, kind of thing that I get to do every single year with them.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I also got offered a national tour for The Lightning Thief, as Annabeth, I believe, is the character from Percy Jackson. But I turned it down because I was competing for Miss Florida, and I was like, this is my dream. I've already committed to it. I'm so sorry. But how cool is it to, like, be considered for a national tour?
That's amazing. You know, there's always more national tours.
Yes. Because at that time, Miss Florida, we had an age limit. So I was like, I have to be at Miss Florida.
Okay. This makes more sense. Yes. And I think that is a nice shift in the pageant industry is, you know, when I was younger, my life was built around the idea of, for me, it was the Miss America organization, 25. That was your age cutoff. And that I literally only had my life planned to like the age of 25 because of that. And then it became Miss USA. And so my life was only planned until like 28. And I feel like that is what a lot of us kind of did.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to have that shift, to not have those barriers.
When they released that, I had to check everywhere. I was like, is this real? It's like, because I was like, okay, I can't get married. I do want to be a mom and a wife, but that has to wait until like I'm almost 30.
Oh yeah.
But I was 100%. Like, fine. It's fine. Like, this is my dream. I'm willing to do whatever for my dream.
Exactly. I like the shift. I like that now individuals, us women that aren't 24, still have a chance to win that dream title and to still go and be what little us wanted to be, which is super cool.
Yeah. I think little Bree would be so proud of where I am now.
I was gonna say, what would you tell 2014 you about your journey and where you're at today?
Oh man. Whatever your experience is just a moment in such a grand life that is ahead of you, because as a teenager you feel like every little thing is the end of the world. So I owe every day, Mom, it's the end of the world, like my life is over, I didn't win this pageant, like I'm the worst person ever, like I got last place or whatever it may be. And now looking at myself and how I handle those no's, it just speaks to my character and how I've grown as a person. So I truly believe that little Bree would be so proud.
You have 3 days before check-in. What are you feeling?
I'm actually feeling super at peace. And at first, it scared me that I was so calm because I've never felt this way before a pageant. Normally there's like that little, like those butterflies in your tummy, or that like anxiety, which I like to say it's not anxiety, it's excitement, because it's the same emotion, it's just how you view it. So that excitement that's there, and I am excited, but I just feel very just prepared, I guess is the word. And I have a really good team and family that surrounded me and didn't have those like first runner-up coming back pressures. So we've kept all of that out, because they always say different night, different judges, different outcome. So I don't really, last year was last year. This year is going to be, it's still being written. So we're calm, we're prepared. I've done everything that I could potentially possibly do to prepare for this moment. So I feel we're just ready to show up and have a good weekend.
I am so excited to cheer you on from all the way in Colorado. Yeah. But do we get a sneak preview, a sneak idea of what your gown color might be? Or even like a hint?
She's glamorous. Just think of me and like, yeah, glamour.
I love it. Okay, I don't know how I feel like each state kind of chooses differently, especially this year, but are y'all told to wear a specific color for swimsuit? Do you get to choose swimsuit? How is that working for y'all this year?
For Florida, we got 3 different color options that we could choose from. Okay. So that was nice, because then it's not just like one, because I hate wearing a white bikini, and one year we had to wear white bikinis because that's the hardest competition swimsuit to buy or to find in general. So unless you're getting a custom swimsuit, it's just hard to find. But I like that we had 3 different color options, and I love that we're getting to wear red for our opening number. So I'm really excited for that.
I like that. It reminds me of the dancing emoji. The little red emoji. Yes. Is it flamenco dancer?
Yeah, the flamingo dancer.
Tango or something like that. Yeah. Ooh, I'm excited. Okay, well, I'm sure you have plenty to go do in preparation for competition, but where can we follow you on your journey to Miss Florida USA?
On my Instagram, it's officially xbree. I had to put the X in there because officially Bree was already taken. But that's my Instagram platform. That's where I post the majority of my stuff. And I'll stay pretty active over the weekend. I have a whole social media team to do that for me, so I can put on my blinders and just focus on competing.
Amazing. I am so excited to cheer you on. Everyone, please go follow Bree on her journey to Miss Florida USA. It has been an absolute joy to get to know you. For everyone to get you to know you just a tiny bit better, we're going to wrap everything up with a quick game of this or that.
Oh,
are you ready?
I love games. Okay.
Beautiful. Okay, my first one off the bat is usually my favorite. Nude lipstick or red lipstick?
Nude. No hesitation.
All right, there we go. Countryside girly or city girly?
Countryside girly. I want to have a home with like chickens. Like I want to be able to get my own eggs.
You can come take my neighbors. They're really loud. They're great until the rooster wakes up.
Right.
Okay. Are you more of a silver or gold jewelry individual?
Gold girly. All my
Do you follow the whole undertone, or are you just like, this is my color and I like it?
It just looks good on me, and I'm just like, yep, that's it. Anything gold, I'm like, yes. 14 of them, spectacular.
Hulu or Netflix?
Ooh. I'm gonna have to say Hulu. I'm actually binge watching Toddlers and Tiaras right now. It's my guilty pleasure.
I love that on so many levels. Oh my god, I have not thought about that show in a hot minute. Okay. And call or text message?
Oh, I will FaceTime everybody. They hate it, but I want to FaceTime. I want to see your face. I want to talk to you.
That's amazing. Okay. Romper or cocktail dress?
Ooh, cocktail dress.
Okay. Evening gown or swimsuit?
Evening gown. Oh, I love the glamour. I love the drama of it all.
Same. I'm so here for that. Onstage question or interview?
Ooh, interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same. I love that. And my absolute favorite for last, sneakers or stilettos?
This is so hard to choose. I'm going to say stiletto. Yeah. Because I have to wear sneakers at work all the time, so when I get to wear my heels, I love wearing them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. Thank you so much for joining me. It was an absolute blast to know you. Everyone, please go follow Bree at officially xbree, which is with an E, not 9.
Yes.
Thank you so much again, and please go cheer her on this weekend at Miss Florida USA.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Have a great night, everyone.